Hey folks, I'm Wess Brown, resident bow technician and media producer for Redline Bowhunting, and welcome to the shop. Today we're going to be going over quivers and whether or not if it's more beneficial to have a dual point of contact quiver or a single point of contact quiver. So you see behind me I have our RL1, which is a single point of contact quiver. This is the spot where only one spot clasps onto that arrow right here, and you can tell there's a good bit of distance from where your broadheads go into where it clasps. And then our other one we'll be using today is our RL2 5 arrow quiver, where you can see we have 2 points of contact where that arrow clasps into. And really the dilemma is if it makes sense to have a dual or a single, what's more beneficial depending on the type of hunt you're on. And we're gonna measure that today with a draw poundage calculator. I've kind of thought of something very, very scientific, and today we're gonna settle it once and for all if it makes sense or is more beneficial to have a dual clasp or a single clasp. Now, I don't have a lot of other quivers here. I have ours, and I can tell you that ours are pretty darn standard in the industry when it comes to the different types of rubber clasps that your arrow will go into. So we could say pretty much whatever the results are today, you're probably gonna find the same results out there on the market, whether it's our quivers or someone else's quivers. So really, let's just get right into it right now. So the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna use the RL1, the 6 arrow quiver. And what I'm gonna do is I have 2 different arrows here so you guys can see. I have a very skinny shaft. It's about 4 millimeters or a 0.11 or 0.166 inner diameter. And then I have a Spartan, Black Eagle Spartan arrow, which is I think a 0.214 inner diameter, just so we can get a little bit, if it means if you have a thicker arrow or a thinner arrow, if it's going to hold in there better. But I don't have fletchings on here. This is incredibly scientific, but I do have broadheads on here, so if that makes a difference inside of there, I'm not sure, but we're going to try it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first arrow. This is the Victory VAP SS's. This is what I usually shoot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here in the middle. So put it right here. And then if you guys notice, in our quivers, we have 2 spots that you can attach your arrow into. So that first one is pretty darn light right there, right? So it holds the arrow pretty darn well. But then if you really want them to hold in tight, I don't do this for the arrow I take out every day, but for the rest of them, I snap them into that very last bit in the clasp there, and it'll work whether it's a larger shaft like the Black Eagle Spartans or a nano shaft like the VAP SS's. But that's where each one of these are going to go in this little experiment that we're doing today. And then on top of that, I got to pick this up here. I made a perfect little string here, very scientific, guys, but I made a string that I'm going to attach to, and I'm going to do maybe about 1 inch or so from the very end of the arrow here to try to get the most leverage. I got to pull my pants up. To get the most leverage possible. So like if we're trying to simulate something that if you're on horseback or if you're going through the woods, that's where it's gonna catch, right at the end of that arrow. So obviously it won't catch very often right here, but maybe at your fletchings. But we're gonna go at the farthest end as we possibly can to get as much leverage and see how much weight or force it takes to pull that straight out of the quiver. And let's just see what happens. I have yet to do this. In my humble opinion, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really think it matters. I think if you're going to catch your arrow on a branch or while you're on horseback, whatever it is, it's going to come off either way. You got to be super careful when you have all of your archery equipment. I mean, yes, we want something rugged that's going to take a beating, and that's why we spend a lot of money on arrows. We spend a lot of money on good quivers and equipment because we know it's going to take a beating. But if we're going to all argue about whether it's better to have a dual clasp quiver or a single clasp quiver, hopefully this is going to settle the score right here, guys. So right now I'm going to turn this on. All right, I have it on. It's at 0. I'm going to put it right through the loop here, and I'm going to pull up right there. But I'm going to hold it right here. I'm going to hold it best I can, and now I'm going to pull up. So right there, guys, that first one, that was with the VAP SS on the 6 arrow RL1. You guys can see, hopefully you can see right there. I got another camera here, I'll try to put it on. I'm not sure if it's going to focus. Maybe it's on my face. But we'll also put it right here as well and see. But hopefully you guys can take my word for it. I got a lot of different camera angles, but for me, I got a 3.74. So 3 pounds and a little over, so it's a little over 3.5 pounds of pressure it took to pull that straight out of this quiver itself right here. So now let's go on to the next arrow. I'm gonna put the Spartan in there, same spot, same clasp. Now I will say this is my personal RL1 6 quiver. This is what I use all hunting season. So all my arrows have been, again, we're gonna put in that last clasp. All of them have been sitting in that last clasp there. So you can say, you know, effectively we can say that, you know, it holds its retention pretty darn well, because I have had arrows in this quiver for about 3.5 months throughout the whole hunting season. So let me get the string again. We're gonna go right back to 0. All right, we're back at 0. I'm gonna put it right at the end here, and then I'm gonna start pulling after I hold right here. So I'm gonna start pulling. All right, so for the thicker arrow, I got a 3.86, so just a little bit more pressure it took to pull that arrow out. See if I can get it on my face, but we can also hold it hopefully right about here. You can see it says 3.86. So it took 3 pounds, 0.86, almost 4 pounds to pull this arrow out of that quiver, simulating getting caught on a branch or a strap or something like that. Now, I've never done this, so I don't know if that's good or not. I imagine it's good. That's a good bit of pressure, that where if you are walking through the woods, you could feel that pressure start pulling you. And it was kind of tough to hold this down on the angle that I had. So, I mean, I could really see that you're gonna feel that pressure coming off of your bow, and you'll be able to catch it in time and then maneuver yourself and keep walking through. Or, you know, if you're kind of in a hurry, I imagine that type of pressure there it's gonna catch your attention, and you'll see your arrow falling out or arrows falling out, and you can go back and pick them up. But now let's go right over to the RL2 5 arrow quiver. We'll just start off with the Spartan. How about that? So I'm gonna put it right in here, put it on the second one. Now, you can see here, I'm gonna put it in the first, I'm gonna put it in the second, and then I'm gonna lock it down to that very end here. Boom. Now, let me, another disclaimer, guys. This one here has never had arrows in it. I have it out of the box for this demonstration only. So just for reference, you guys, just so you know. And let's check it out. I'm gonna get the string here. So just so you guys know as well, I'm really just trying to let this pop. I'm not trying to put any more pressure into it. That's why the string keeps falling. I just really want it to pop out and try to simulate walking through the woods or something like that. So put the string on here. We're back to 0, just like that. And let me attach here. I'm gonna hold down. All right. Okay, so that's interesting. I still felt a good bit of pressure, but we're at almost a whole pound. We're at actually more than a whole entire pound less than the 6 arrow RL1 quiver, the carbon quiver that we have. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Try to put this in front of my face so you guys can see it. I don't know if I got it, but there. 2.7 pounds it took of pressure to pull it out of both of those clasps. Now, is that pound of pressure a make or break deal on what arrow quiver you want to buy? I don't know, but I will say that we'll go over a couple things that I think that the RL1 has advantages over. But let's try the other one, the other arrow. We have the VAP SS right here. Put it in the same one, same arrow spot, and we go all the way down into that spot here. So it's all the way in. Let's put this string back on, and we gotta make sure we're on 0, and we're back to 0. And now I'm going to hold here, and I'm going to pull up. All right, 2.2 2 pounds. So it took a little bit less. So hopefully you guys can see it. All right. So 2.2 pounds, guys. So, you know, just in this, something super quick and easy to do to try to figure this out for you guys. We get a lot of questions like, is it better to have a 2-point of contact quiver or a single point of contact? I think in our reference here, you guys can see that from where the broadheads go in the little cap up top to the clasp down at the bottom, the RO1, I think wins out mainly because of how far this goes down on the arrow. Now, I'll tell you, these two arrows are at 30 inches. I have a 31-inch draw. I have both of those arrows at 30 inches. And, you know, I have kind of the disadvantage. The longer the arrow, the more leverage you're going to be able to get to pop those off the quiver. So I can't imagine how much more retention you would have in, let's say, a quiver like the RL1 if you had a 28 or a 27-inch arrow, or even like a 29. Those inches definitely add up. But I think that's the main advantage that the RL1 has over the RL3 and the RL2, or almost any other dual clasp quiver, because of that length from the tip to the end. There's a good significant distance here. Now, in my experience, a lot of quivers that I see out there that are dual clasp are kind of short like this. They kind of use, or I would say that maybe they trust more into these clasps than that distance that you would have on a quiver like this or another one like this. But in my opinion, the longer you can get the clasp, whether it's a single or a double, the longer you can get these points of contact down that arrow, you know, from here down that arrow, I think the better off you are. So again, guys, I mean, if you guys are looking for a good solid quiver, lightest one on the market, the RL1, redlinebowhunting.com, guys. But hey, we did something super quick. Hope if you guys have any questions, or if you want to go deeper into this, shoot us a message at info@redlinebowhunting.com, or just drop us a comment here, whether it's on social media or YouTube, and I'll try to dive into it a little bit further. But really, guys, it was super simple, and at the end of the day, you have a full pound more of retention depending on what arrow you use with the RL1. And again, I think it's the distance from here to there and the length of your arrows. But hope that helped you guys out for making a decision on that quiver that you're looking for your next big hunt, or just this upcoming bow season. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.